Irvine, California, there's been a scheduling error on the tracks between Lompoc and LA, causing slight damage to 2 locomotives.
Two-thirds of the way into the 2024 Supercross season, and right when it looked like Jet Lawrence had this title on lockdown, he didn't. Last Saturday night in St. Louis, Eli Tomac went 1-1-1, although he also actually didn't. But he did. Tomac gated well in all 3 races and showed impressive speed we'd only seen flashes of thus far. Speed only equaled and once exceeded by Jet, who of course jumped on that red cross flag, partially negating his result that would be truncated with a capital T in the 3rd and final race. Eli has now won 8 Triple Crowns in his career, and his win from Anaheim plus the 3 in St. Louis brings his total of individual Triple Crown race victories to 17. That's 33% of the race wins, and nearly half of the overalls. Best all time in a category that hasn't existed for all that long. Just when it looked like it might not happen, Tomac is back on the board with a win. But he isn't in the championship chase. Still, let's hope this sets a course for Eli to continue racing, and certainly celebrate his 217th podium, best all time, just passing Ricky Carmichael for the honor. It was also his 100th Supercross podium, which sits him 4th all time, one behind Ryan Dungey. Dude is good at Triple Crowns. Jet, who isn't, except when he was, just 2 weeks previous, was bammed back to 21st in the 3rd race, in his worst overall finish of the season, and since 2021, in fact, adding injury to the insult of having his win in the 2nd race yanked under questionable circumstances. More on those questions later. February 2nd, 2021, Lawrence finished 23rd in a 250 Supercross race in Indianapolis. It was the only other time Lawrence has finished outside the top 20 in his Supercross career. He's only finished outside the top 10 3 times. Although their styles on the bike couldn't be more dissimilar, like many, this pundit was reminded of how Stu would too often cut down in traffic and only occasionally pay the price. Like James Stewart, Jet perhaps isn't yet aware of how significantly faster than his competition he can be. Possible? Perhaps. Just a week previous, Lawrence threw away a probable race win by running in the back of Cooper Webb. And it wasn't the first time he'd arrived in a corner only to find another rider still there. His own closing speed, ill-advised. Kind of like making these video essays, cutting down quickly on the first lap of a Supercross race is a fool's errand. Witness James Stewart, Anaheim, 2016. Therein lies the comparison between Stewart and Lawrence. Being so much faster than your competition that it's difficult to comprehend, let alone adjust for the differential in speed. And, almost finally, there's not much need to address Jet and Barcia, except to say that everyone has an opinion, and most have already been expressed on the interwebs. Barcia came in too hot, Jet cut down too early, and as the second law of physics tells us, 2 solid objects cannot occupy the same space. But, finally, this flag situation is a joke, and the AMA needs to fix it. Carmichael and Villapoto bandy about in-helmet communications. Mathis says, just make the flags bigger. Okay, sure. Here's a simpler solution. Or maybe it's only a series of questions. Are Are there not 2 Red Cross flags available in the tower? Only 1 flagger in the flag stand? Is there no one in the tower who might have ambled down 1 flight of stairs, hung a left, and then waved a damn flag in the long flat straightaway, preceding a rutted out 170-degree corner? Where riders would have certainly been looking far enough forward to see it? Like I said, questions. There's a set of stairs, right here, that lead directly down to the straightaway preceding the final turn. And no one was available to stumble down there a dozen steps and keep Freezy safe? With more than a mere few feet of limp flag warning before a 60-foot jump? I mean, I'd love to see Freezy get landed on and put out of the sport permanently, so that he wouldn't have so much effect on so many races, so many damn times. Races he's only tangentially involved in, sure. But penalizing 5 of the best riders in the sport for making the same mistake kind of indicates that the mistake wasn't Jets, or Webb's, or Sexton's, or Plessinger's, or even Anderson's, who missed it not once, but twice, for a double penalty. But rather with the flag being held stagnant and partially obscured for 60 seconds, when it might have been carried to the preceding quarter entry in maybe 20, then waved around a bit. Okay, enough. Moving on to Massachusetts. Foxborough, Mass. hosted only 3 Supercross races between 1983 and 1990. The races were held in what was originally known as Schaefer Stadium, later known as Sullivan Stadium, and was most well known as Foxborough Stadium until its demolition in 2002. Foxborough Stadium was an outdoor facility opening in 1971 and serving as the home of the New England Patriots of the NFL for 31 years before its demise. The first Supercross race held in Foxborough was on July 24, 1983. David Bailey won on a Honda en route to winning the title. Suzuki's Mark Barnett held an 11-point lead over Bailey heading into Foxborough Stadium, which was the penultimate race of the season. Barnett's transmission failed him in the semi-qualifier, ending his night. Bailey's victory gave him a 10-point lead in the series, and that would be enough room to win the title in the finale. Bailey returned to win again in Foxborough the following season. Teammate Johnny O'Mara would win that year's war in the 1984 championship chase. When the series returned 6 years later in 1990, it was another superlatively smooth Red Rider, Jean-Michel Bell, who would take the win over Jeff Ward and Mike LaRocco.
Is about to drop and the 250 main is underway. And Dave, it's a contest between Antecedents and Stanton, and the man that is out front, Jean-Michel Bale. The championship is on the line.
A lot of contact there in the back of the pack. Didn't involve any of the front runners. Bale got a hole shot. Antecedents and Stanton are both clear of the traffic, running back there in about 7th and 8th spots right now. Neither got a good start. Jeff Ward into 2nd place. Mike LaRocco with an unusual good start. Usually we see LaRocco coming up through the traffic. Tonight he's 3rd off the gate.
Heading into this Foxborough round, Jean-Michel Bale had started to threaten for the points lead. He has gone 3 races without scoring points, yet he's up there in contention for the title. So if Bale finishes where he is in that number 1 spot, and Matasevich and Stanton, who are back in the pack, stay back there, it is going to be a barn burner. We still have 3 rounds remaining after Foxborough.
Season. The Charger at the end of this campaign has been Jean-Michel Bale, number 22. Again, take away the pressure, and this man has gone crazy. Jeff Ward is 2nd tonight, but I don't think he's going to catch Bale. They're moving into the last lap.
broadcast possible. We're in the last lap. Number 22 has led it from the outset. Jean-Michel Bale, he takes the checkered flag, and he does it just behind Jeff Matasevich, who still has a full lap of this track to ride. And Bale is happy. Now there's Jeff Ward. He came home in the number 2 position. He was there throughout most of the race. Mike LaRocco finishing in the number 3 spot.
Well worth noting is that Jeff Ward earned a podium in each Foxborough race and is the only rider to do so. Supercross would not return to the Foxborough area until 2016, this time to Gillette Stadium. Foxborough had been demolished 2 years after Bale's win and would be replaced by another open-air facility, Gillette Stadium. The town of Foxborough approved plans for the stadium's construction on December 6, 1999, and work on the stadium began on March 24, 2000. The first official event at the stadium was a Major League Soccer game on May 11, 2002, with the New England Revolution beating the Dallas Burn. Whatever that is. Opening in 2002, the facility remains the home of the Revolution soccer team, and of course, 4-time NFL champion New England Patriots. And that's more than enough kick the ball nonsense. In that 2016 race, Kenny Roczen secured his 4th win of the season aboard the RCH Soaring Eagle Suzuki. Roczen came into the main event with a strong performance, starting off in 3rd place. During the first lap, Kenny moved ahead to take the lead and maintain his position for the remainder of the event. The series next stopped in Foxborough 2 years later, and factory KTM rider Marvin Musquin dominated the first 22 laps of the main event, until Kawasaki's Eli Tomac made his move and found the lead just before the white flag. Tomac made a clean pass, and then old Marv did Eli dirty, snatch away the win. Tomac was not well pleased. It was another 4 years before the series returned. In 2022, Gillette Stadium hosted the 15th round, and Eli Tomac only had to finish ahead of Anderson to clinch his 2nd Supercross title. And that's not what happened. Anderson turned in a clutch performance and forestalled Tomac's title hopes for one more week. Cooper Webb had shot into the lead on his KTM, with Eli in his first season on the Yamaha in tow. But in their shadow was Anderson, and Jason took advantage of the battle out front to cut underneath Tomac, and Eli stalled, slipping back to 7th at race's end. Chase Sexton challenged Anderson late in the race, but Jason was able to hold on to take the win. Musquin rounded out the podium. David Bailey, the smoothest and most technical rider of his day, is the only rider so far to have won both the Foxborough race and the title in the same season. And here we are, 4 decades later, with another Red Rider of superior skills leading the championship chase. It's still Jet's championship to lose. And only 2 riders in the last 20 years have lost the title after holding the points lead this far into the season. Eli, of course, last year. And Eli also in 2017. He had a winning streak of 5 in a row in 6 out of 7 races to take the points lead, only to relinquish it back to Ryan Dungey by season's end.
Tomac is down! Dungey's in the lead! Tomac, how many people are going to go by? A whole bunch! And the points are just drifting away from Tomac.
Tomac is, of course, out of any championship contention. Anything could happen, but something would have to happen to Lawrence, Webb, and Sexton. Unlikely that we'd have all 3 falter down the back stretch. But then again, Sexton was crowned last year only after both Webb and Tomac were forced to depart the series. In fact, Sexton is closer to the points lead at 20 back this year than he was after the 12th race of last season, when he found himself 25 points in arrears. Frustration continues for Chase. Just 1 week after nearly winning in Seattle, he could only muster a 10th place finish in the first St. Louis race and a 5th overall on the night. Nearer to the title than he was 1 season ago, but also showing little of the spark and speed he displayed in 2023. Cooper Webb, however, is still right there, now just 8 points back. Eli Tomac had taken his 51st win, also in the 12th race of the season at the 2023 Glendale event, which was also a Triple Crown, by the way. That had been his 7th win of the season, and he carried a 7-point advantage into the next race. And we all know what happened. Few suspected it would be an entire year before Tomac would win again. Rear-view mirror perception might make one think that Cooper Webb always wins from behind. And Cooper has hung on in this championship fight like a bulldog to a bone. But in his 2 championship seasons, Webb carried a 14-point lead at this point in the 2019 season, and was 15 points ahead of the field in 2021. Webb won 5 of the first 9 races in 2019, and a total of 7 on the way to his first title. In 2021, he won 8 races. This year, he's prevailed in only 3, but remains in the chase. He has only a smattering of laps led, just 13, while Jet has over 10 times that many. But Lawrence has also squandered away at least 3 probable wins, while Coop has taken advantage of every opportunity post his 3. 8 points out, Webb isn't going quietly into the night. And hey, if you like this video, please like this video. Hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge, and it helps out a lot. Meanwhile, thanks for watching this.